The final part of the Ninja Storm saga may be the best-looking anime game ever, as well as a surprisingly accessible fighting game. There are multiple reasons why there aren't many movie or TV tie-ins nowadays, from the lack of control a publisher has over the game, to the unforgiving time constraints, and the simple fact that most console gamers know tie-ins usually turn out to be bad games, and so smartphone users are easier pickings. But the other reason is that sometimes the license can actually put people off if they've never heard of it or think it's too nerdy. That's certainly a danger with Naruto, which is a shame as this is actually a very competent fighting game. The other problem with Naruto is that this is approximately the 7,386th game based on the Japanese manga and anime. We admit, we didn't count exactly. Like the Dragon Ball games, they vary in quality, but the one-on-one fighting games have generally been pretty decent. Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 doesn't really do anything drastically different, but its move to the current generation has brought with it enough refinement and improvement to push the franchise to the next level. One of the common faults of tie-in games is that they're terrible at explaining the universe and characters to non-fans, and we still have little real understanding of what Naruto is all about. As far as we can gather, it's basically Harry Potter with ninjas, except it's all been going on for so long now that it's got even more complicated and impenetrable. But for a game like this that really doesn't matter, because as a concept anime-style ninja pretty much sells itself. That said, the story mode really is only for diehards, and is more a collection of cutscenes, punctuated with the odd plot-appropriate fight, than it is a traditional video game. The developer is CyberConnect 2, and the story mode has much in common with their almost classic Asura's Wrath. Amongst their other talents, they're one of the few developers that know how to use QTEs properly, and the ones here add greatly to the drama and extravagant presentation. The story mode details the end of the original saga, and an apocalyptic ninja war, with this supposedly being the final game in the sub-series. Whether you care about the plot or not though, the story mode does introduce you to the first example of the game's surprising competence, the excellent visuals. We've probably said this a number of times over the years, but this really does look like an anime brought to life, with some of the best use of cel shading we've seen in any video game. What the story mode also brings with it is a huge cast of characters, including lots of minor variants, each with their own special moves and stat differences in terms of speed and power. In terms of controls though, the basics are the same for everyone, with even the combos being the same, even if they do different things on screen when you use them. Since Naruto is a mainstream concern in Japan, there's clearly an attempt to make this as accessible as possible. But the other reason for the lack of control diversity is that you usually have to pick 3 characters to form a team. These you can switch between whenever you want. So the similarity of controls means experimentation is fully encouraged, although pairing characters who get on together, or have complementary powers, can lead to special combination moves. The tag team concept isn't new to fighting games, but rarely has it been quite so intrinsic to the action, especially as the combat also has a great emphasis on evasion and keeping mobile, with most characters having teleportation moves and the arenas being unusually large for a fighter. There are other more advanced fighting game techniques too, such as counters and guard breaking, and the need to keep your chakra topped up in order to funnel it into powering super moves. If you beat the story mode, there's an extra role-playing style adventure mode that offers its own original story, but the real longevity comes from the versus and online modes. These in turn have an impressive range of sub-options, including survival challenges, 8-player tournaments and leagues, and fully customizable match rules. It's fair to say that Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 still has more width than depth, but it's clear that its primary goal is remaining true to its source material and being accessible to a non-gaming audience. But given those restrictions, it does an admirable job of trying to please everyone, and may well earn new fans for the anime as well as the game itself.